So Wilfred Bion, a canonical psychoanalyst, he talks about beta elements. And a beta element is an experience that you have often when you're a child that is so significant you cannot symbolize it. It is too much. It's something that happens to you that you can't put into any subjective form. It's like a ship sunken in the depths of the ocean. The ship contains the water, but the water contains the ship. And the trauma is like the ocean. It is this saturated phenomenon. So perhaps you had to nurse yourself when you were young. You didn't have containment. Something was happening that was something you couldn't understand. And you have a temper tantrum. You have this sense of just the world is collapsing. And you see this with children. When something happens, it's not just they're unhappy, it's that everything collapses in their life. So that's kind of like a beta element. And then Bion talks about the alpha function. And the alpha function is what the parent does if they're a good enough parent. They take all of this primal agony, this experience of the beta element. Without anxiety, they bring it into themselves, and then they help the child to symbolize it through music or song, through words. They translate the real of the experience, the real of the trauma, into the symbolic register, into language. And this happens to some extent for all of us, but sometimes it doesn't happen enough. And so as adults, sometimes people feel that there are sharks under the bed that are going to consume them, or a stranger outside the building who is going to kill them, or they feel that they are going to have a breakup in their relationship that is absolutely going to devastate them. And often this happens at night. This is what Winnicott, another psychoanalyst, calls a primal agony. It's this experience you have of a complete too muchness, of an apocalyptic event that you feel is about to happen, right? There's not any stranger outside necessarily, but you hear a tap and you suddenly, without any doubt, feel that something is about to happen, which is going to be absolutely devastating. Now, the good news is that that apocalyptic event is not going to happen. It already has. That's the idea of primal agony. You're afraid of an absolutely devastating trauma happening that has actually already happened in your life, but you have not been able to symbolize. You have not been able to put into language. Now, the reason why Bion uses the term beta element and alpha function, so the alpha function is where the parent puts your trauma into language, is because he says what the parent has to do is alphabeticize the experience. So to alphabeticize means to take the beta element and put it into the alphabet, put it into a symbolic world. And that's what happens in psychoanalysis. The analyst alphabetizes your trauma, helps you realize that this thing that you're terrified of happening did happen, and it's okay. And all you have to do is find a way to put it into words. Now, this is what a wake is. So when someone dies, it's a traumatic event. And what we need to do is learn how to put that event into language in some way. And so a wake is a ritual, a liturgy, a vigil that helps you through music and words to translate the real into the symbolic. It's there to take this beta element and alphabeticize it, to put language to it. One way of understanding this is the term gone but not forgotten. So when someone dies, you say they are gone, but they are not forgotten. In other words, they are put into your memory. They are remembered. They are put into language. And so you carry them with you. If you don't do that, you enter into what can be called the realm of the forgotten but not gone. And the realm of the forgotten but not gone is the unconscious, where you don't put your trauma into language and it remains within you in outbursts of anger, in terror at night that you will be consumed by the monsters under the bed, the murderer in the cupboard, or by the aliens in your dreams.